After everything the Indiana Fever did in free agency, the expectations were higher than Katy Perry holding a daisy in a Bezos spaceship. Then, the Fever's marketing team told the world they were taking over the WNBA, and we're here for the takeover. Add it all up, and there has never been this much hype for a WNBA team. They have the league on their shoulders and a huge target on their back. The marketing team is not wrong. The Fever are the show. But with every game this season will feel like a playoff game, and every team they play will treat it like Game 7. They won't just want to win. They'll want to humiliate the Fever on national television and be the ones to calm Caitlin Clark. Before training camp, there were many questions about whether the chemistry would work, whether they could handle the pressure, and whether the media attention and high expectations would be too much. However, training camp gave us a sneak peek, and it appears that we have our answers. By WNBA standards, the Indiana Fever just had. The Fever just held their media day, and yes, it was impressive. It was NBA level, and it's a far cry from what these players have experienced with previous teams. Just ask Sophie Cunningham if we don't remember this. She's gone from this to, that. However, I'm not here to focus on the nonsense today. We're getting to the meat. The real story was in the interviews, which gave us our first real taste of how the team is approaching the season, what their mindset is, what they expect, and perhaps most intriguingly, what teammates are already noticing about Caitlin Clark. I won't give it away, but let's say that if you're a Fever fan, you're going to... So far, training camp has been a whirlwind, and if you're a Fever fan, you've got to love what you're seeing. However, as I mentioned earlier, the pressure is on this team. They have the talent and the leadership, but the big question is whether they will gel. Only 5 players are returning from last season, which means they have new personalities, new styles, and new roles to figure out. If you're not a Fever fan, you might want to reconsider, because what we're about to see is straight up, we've all witnessed elite teams fail in real life because of a lack of chemistry, but judging from what we witnessed on Media Day, this team has more chemistry right away than Sydney Sweeney and I do in my delusional fantasy. It all begins with desire and having the right mindset in the locker room. You can't fake that. At the moment, the Fever appear to be a cohesive unit that has already been bought in. They aren't playing this season, so they are standing 10 toes behind wanting to get a chip, and they're all trying to keep the noise down in order to protect the locker room, because as we all know, the Indiana Fever are a talked about team. Bunch is about teams, so they're trying to keep it kind of safe to create a championship environment. The tone is set at the top, and that's where new head coach Stephanie White comes in. She's not just calling plays or managing rotations, she's shaping the culture, and from what we've seen and heard so far, she's already made a big impact. All right, and that starts every single day in what we do right here with each other. We're excited about the opportunity we have, so we're going to be shot makers first. Got to give great shooters passes every time. When asked how the team is doing, Stephanie gave the exact response you would expect from a leader in her position. The championship additions to this team, the winners and the people who have been there have made a lot of things brighter. How have you started to see them kind of mesh on the floor with the young four and with one another? Well, they've done a great job. First and foremost, you hear it vocally as they discuss some of the little details like spacing or timing or the intensity level in a drill. Stephanie talked about the mix of old and new on this team, and that's a big deal last year. The knock on the Fever was that they had the young guns, but not the championship pedigree. They had the talent, but not the experience to make a deep playoff push, which is exactly why Dana Bonner might end up being the most successful. You hear them vocally, and then you see them leading by example. I think the challenge sometimes for veterans when you come in is to grow the young ones in terms of their leadership, so they are willing to help navigate, but also willing to listen. This group has been outstanding in that, and they just raised the intensity level. Impactful free agency signing of them all. Kelsey Mitchell said they got the best vet in the world, and Caitlin Clark said they want to win for Dana Bonner. Based on everything we've seen this week, including practice, interviews, and player reactions, it's evident that the players respect her, and more than that, they want to win for her. She's not just a leader, she's a 6-time All-Star, a 2-time WNBA champion, and one of the most respected veterans in the league. He brings a sense of seriousness to this roster, and the best part is that Dana is thrilled to be an independent. Did any of them say something that particularly stood out to you? Did they say something like, I think we'll work it out, or something like, yeah, that's all I need to hear, that's all I need to hear? They want to win, they wanted to be led. They didn't have any playoff experience last year, so they were completely different. So I feel like we adopted that mindset from the start. They were also quite open to me taking charge, and I've been following them a little bit because the last point regarding the environment is crucial because, let's face it, this is not your typical WNBA situation. For many players, it's a full-on media circus rather than a quiet training camp with a few reporters on the sidelines. This level of pressure is entirely new, which is why it's crucial to have team leaders who understand it, know how to block out the noise, keep things in perspective, and still bring the energy. Sophie Cunningham's one of those players. As I mentioned earlier, nobody understands playing in this kind of environment, but the students who have done it and, listening to them has been a little bit special. Sophie has always had that edge and confidence that give me the mic energy. She's outspoken, tough, and thrives in the spotlight, not just because she wants it, but because she knows what to do with it. She embraces pressure and doesn't mind the cameras or the headlines. In fact, she kind of feeds off them. That makes her invaluable on a team like this where the media attention is constant and expectations are sky high. We're just a close-knit group right now, and I know it's only day 4 or 5 of being together, but when I tell you that we all care for each other and we love each other and we want this to be a really special season, I think that's what we really want. Sophie's feeling the love, and they're going to need to keep those positive vibes flowing all season long, because with the kind of spotlight that's about to hit every home, I understand what it feels like to have everyone watching your every move, and I think that they went through it. Building chemistry on the court, running plays, and reading each other's movements are all important, but what truly tests a team is what happens off the court when the pressure hits. The media creates drama, and every mistake becomes a headline, which is when teams either come together or start to crack. We've seen it happen before in every league. A team with all the talent in the world gets rattled, the locker room turns cold, finger-pointing starts, and all that championship potential vanishes. Though I know Kobe and Shaq worked together when they didn't like each other, it does help when teammates like each other. However, you really get the impression from these interviews that there is a lot of mutual respect and a shared mission in that room. There is no ego, no side eyes, no drama simmering beneath the surface, just a group of players who genuinely seem to like each other, trust each other, and understand what they're trying to build together, and that's not something that happens by chance. It's easy for things to get out of control when you have veterans wearing rings, the baby goat, and the media buzzing around every soundbite, but this team appears to have clarity, players who understand the pressure, know what's at stake, and are prepared to run toward it rather than away from it. That goal was made very clear during Media Day when I said the Fever shouldn't back down from WNBA championship expectations, and they most definitely aren't. You can feel it. It's not just a talking point or a far-off goal. It's championship or bust, and that mindset starts at the top. Just listen to Caitlin Clark, who has been clear so far that she wants to win a championship this year. Of course, every player in the league wants to win, but Caitlin Clark's mentality is different. Even though she was a rookie the previous season, she exceeded expectations by breaking 62 records, carrying herself like an experienced veteran, and leading a struggling team from the basement straight into the playoffs. What does success look like? They weren't just impressive, they were transformative. She was the reason that Stephanie White joined the team, and that veterans like Sydney Colson, Dana Bonner, and Natasha Howard saw Indiana as the place to be during this entire new era for the Fever. Let's not fool ourselves, though, because Caitlin is still under pressure because she is the face of the team, the one that the media scrutinizes, the one that the cameras follow, and the one that the league is riding to break viewership records. Although she won't admit it, there is additional motivation this year. Heard the commotion, the criticism, the jabs at her fans, and the stories that attempted to downplay everything she had done. The big question going into camp was, how will she handle it? Let's just say her response left no doubt. I believe there was a lot going on at this time last year, such as I'm trying to move to a new city, I'm staying in a hotel, I'm trying to figure out my teammates, I'm trying to figure out new coaches, And, we played the first game of the college season. I played the first WNBA preseason game, and I played 11 games in 20 days. So it was a lot to process, but I'm also really thankful for that experience. I believe it taught me a lot about basketball, how to be resilient, and how to come in and work and always get better. But I feel like I'm in a much better place of understanding how the league operates, what the coaches and your teammates are going to expect of you, and obviously have a lot of time to rest and get better at things I want to improve. It goes without saying that last year was a baptism by fire for Caitlin Clark because she was knocked down. It's a lot to put on anyone, let alone a 22-year-old rookie tasked with saving the league. However, as Caitlin herself stated, she was resilient and didn't whine or fold. Instead, she bulked up and went to the gym to sharpen every aspect of her game. Now that she's back, she's not just stronger, but with a completely different energy. This isn't some wide-eyed rookie learning the ropes anymore. This is her team. And when it's your team, the players mop her every move. And Caitlin Clark isn't here for moral victories. She's here for titles. Enter Stephanie White, a coach with rings, a coach with a plan, a coach with the presence and pedigree to match. Caitlin couldn't have been more glowing in her praise of Stephanie's leadership and understanding. It's like stepping onto the court with Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan. If you're not locked in, you're getting left behind. This goes for everyone, including the coaching staff of the game, her ability to place players in the right positions, and her ability to listen to what Caitlin said without saying it, as if she simply has a really good basketball mind. If you listen to her call NBA or college games, you'll hear that her knowledge of the game is far superior to most people's. She knows how the game is supposed to be played, or a situation basketball, and she knows how to put people in positions to be successful. I don't know about you, but everything Caitlin said, how Stephanie White knows the game. Basketball places players in the right places, and you can't help but think that was a very nice critique of what was lacking under Christie's sides last season. If you agree, feel free to leave a comment. Stephanie White is unquestionably a huge improvement. She will help the Fever win those close games they couldn't finish last season. She brings structure, vision, and championship experience. And yes, she will elevate everyone, especially Caitlin, who the players couldn't stop talking about how much progress she's made this offseason. On social media, people say things like, Caitlin has so strong muscles. Don't tell her I said that either. Don't even bring it up. But I believe her strength. She can bully her way in and finish strong at the basket. Everyone talks about her three-point shooting. We've all seen her pass, but I think she can also get downhill and really just stay on balance and score the ball. I think the season will be fantastic when you combine Caitlin's newfound inside strength, not just her signature deep threes, with her high IQ playmaking and court vision. Now that she's stronger and more self-assured, it will be a nightmare for defenders to give her a team that can actually finish plays and support her system, which will open up a ton of offense. If you don't, good luck stopping her one-on-one. And here's where it gets even better. Natasha Howard, a three-time WNBA champion and veteran who has been there before, gave Caitlin Clark a lot of praise, specifically her ceiling and what she's capable of. I can already see it in practice as she's speaking to us in the huddles. And things like, I feel like it's natural to her because she did it at Iowa for the 4 years, and she was at Iowa. So I feel like she's going to be in that category with the Super, the Duratis, and stuff like that. What we've learned from Media Day is that we have a close-knit team made up of both veterans and up-and-coming talent who all understand their goals and why they're here. Leading the charge is a player who appears more than ready to assume her role as the future GOAT. There isn't much to criticize here. It's just concentrated energy, stacked talent, a lot of belief and excitement. We've been here for about a week and a half, and the support here has been incredible. I can't go anywhere. Everywhere I go, it's like we're excited for the season. Thank you for being here. It's been really refreshing. I'm sorry you get that on the streets, but it's true that this team is off the charts and that this is unlike anything we've seen in women's basketball before. Poor Dana Bonner can't even go grocery shopping without getting swarmed. That's the level we're at right now. Even if you're playing for a different team or supporting someone else, it's hard to ignore what's happening in Indiana. This is the epitome of the Caitlin Clark effect, where her fame not only shines on her, but also spills over onto everyone around her. Dana Bonner, who a year ago could have gone unnoticed through most cities, is now getting recognized at every corner in Indianapolis. It's not a slight on her, rather, it's a reflection of how enormous. Now that the Fevers are rock stars, they have the swagger to match the hype and the mentality to handle it. Based on what we saw on Media Day, this team isn't overwhelmed. They're ready. But honestly, I think everyone in here is just full of great energy. We know where we want to be at the end of the season, so I think people are just coming in with a great mindset every day, wanting to learn and want to be the best teammate possible. And when I say that, it's a good, fresh breath of air it is, so you guys will see it soon. If you're still here, please leave a basketball in the comment section to say hello, and thanks for watching.